Good morning. My name is Sarah Chavez, and I will be your chairperson for today's Ohigan service. Are there any visitors or new students and families here this morning? If so, welcome to our temple. Could those of you sitting near them help them find the proper pages for the sutras, gathas, and readings? Thank you. First, we will have Sambujo on page 24 in the Big Book, followed by Sutra Chanting Juseige on page 23 in the Little Book or page 93 in the Big Book.
San Jose Beijing's fall Ohigan service. We reverently come before me, the Buddha, with deepest reverence and gratitude for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of affirm the three homages. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. 와곤 조생난 이심무조도 싱가부만톡 세부조쇼남
We will now have Daihyoshoko by the following organizations: Cub Scouts Pack 611, Boy Scout Troop 611, Boy Scout Troop 611, Daisy Troop, Brownie Troop, Junior Troop, Cadet Troop, Seniors and Ambassador Troop, Lotus Preschool, Morgan Hill Dharma School, San Jose Dharma School, San Jose Junior YBA, DSPO, San Jose Betsuan, Now we will have Gatha Tsuki Ga Deta on page 96, followed by the golden chain, which is located on page 2 in the little book, or page 15 in the big book, under golden chain 1.
Tsuki Ga Deta, Tsuki Ga Deta, Temari no yoni mamba ruku Tsuki Ga Deta, Tsuki Ga Deta, Kagami no yoni kumorazu ni, Mihotoke sama no Tsuki no yoni kumoranai, Tsuki ga deta, Tsuki ga deta, Jihi no hikari ni mamorareru, Mihotoke sama no konoma, Tsuki no yoni utsukushii.
The Golden Chain. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
Namo
Butsu.
Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
Namo
Butsu.
Amida Butsu.
Now Rinban Sakamoto will introduce our guest speaker.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see all of you here. We are running late already, so I hope you'll kind of keep that in mind and don't worry so much about the time. We're very fortunate to have with us our guest speaker, Reverend Harry Bridge from the Oakland Buddhist Temple. He's been a minister there for about 15 years, while he and his wife, Mika. Reverend Bridge has been also a minister with the Lodi Buddhist Temple. So he's been in the BCA as a teacher for quite a few years. He is currently a part of the IBS Institute of Buddhist Studies staff. He helps train and prepare ministers for Kaikyoshi and their kind of, day-to-day kind of operations. We're fortunate, again, to have him. He's also served as the head of the Ministers Association, the National Ministers Association. He recently retired from that position, and Reverend Adams of the San Mateo Buddhist Temple took on that responsibility. He was saying earlier that he felt very relieved attending this year's summer seminar when he was not responsible for anything other than being there and as a close minister preparing for everyone to come to the Bay Area to participate in that seminar. But again, we are very fortunate to have Bridge Sensei here with us this morning. Thank you very much, Sensei.
Give me a second. I'm going to play this later, but I'm putting it on now so I don't have to waste time. Okay. Namanda, 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 namanda. Okay, good morning, everybody. Wonderful to be here. Thank you so much. I was thinking of my history with San Jose Buddhist Church, and I think the first time I came here was 2006, and it was for Ohata Sensei's funeral. So that was a while ago. That was I don't think I was even serving yet as a minister. But I've been here a few times to speak, and we had National Council here once, and so it's wonderful to be back. I don't think I've had that many chances to speak, so this is really special. So I really want to thank you. oh, the sharing's not turned on. Can I share my screen? I have a PowerPoint. Sharing not turned on. Sharing not turned on. Oh. Yeah, it's still not working, unfortunately. Is it under the security thing? Yeah, I still can't get it to share. This is the problem with technology. I love technology. Except when it doesn't work. There we go. There we go. Yeah, a little Napoleon Dynamite helped get it out there. Okay, so fall Ohigan. Really wonderful to be here. This is my favorite time of year, fall. Maybe just because I was born in the fall. But what do you think of when you hear fall Ohigan? So I think the autumnal equinox. Have you heard of that? Right? That's why it's Ohigan, because it's the equinox. It's the time when day and night are equal. Right? And so we have the vernal equinox is in spring, and then the autumnal equinox is in fall or autumn. Right? But what do you think of when you hear fall Ohigan? Anyone have any thoughts, or you just kind of like, no thoughts? How about the 6 paramitas, right? Anyone heard of the 6 paramitas? Or really the 6 padamitas? You see what I did there? See the little lines over the A, right? You're being kind of technical. They're also known as, AKA, the 6 perfections. Okay, so we can say 6 paramitas, we can say 6 padamitas, or we can say the 6 perfections. And of course, it's Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. Right? Have you heard that? No? This guy. It's not that. Actually, it's not that. Right? This looks kind of like a grandpa. I couldn't find a Japanese-American grandpa with pizza. But it could be that, right? Grandpa, and then look, there's a little calendar. I don't know if you can see up above, next to his head, every Monday and Wednesday. Right? So Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. Okay? But that's not what it's really about. That's just to help you remember the 6 paramitas. Giving, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. So if you can remember, Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. Let's say it together. Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. And then it's harder to go giving, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom, although I just did it, even without looking. But you can kind of reconstruct it. Right? So if you can at least remember Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, then you can remember the 6 paramitas. Okay? There's another one, Dharma School Kids Value Daily Practice, but that's for the Sanskrit, so that's next time. Okay, so in my opinion, some of the paramitas are maybe more important than others for our school, for Jodo Shinshu. Like we don't meditate, or I don't meditate, so the meditation one is not so important for me. Right? But we can still think about them, and so I want to focus on Grandpa, which is what? Giving, right. So giving, that's one of the most important, I think, for our school, for a few different reasons. But it's not just giving. If we're talking about paramitas, if we're talking about perfections, then it's selfless giving. Right? A lot of times when I give, I'm like, okay, where's the thank you? You know, it's like I'm kind of waiting for something in return, but that's not what the perfection of giving is. Right? The perfection of giving is selfless giving, not thinking of myself at all, only thinking of who I'm giving to. So I think we can also see giving as related to compassion. I don't know if you heard that word, right? Compassion, wisdom and compassion of the Buddha. That is, on Buddha's side, the perfect wisdom and perfect compassion. So I want to tell you a story. It's a tale of 3 cats. See what I did there? Tale of 3 cats, okay? So I'm at the Buddhist Church of Oakland, and we have a parking lot, and we have dumpsters, and we have shipping containers in the back, and we have a parking lot, and look, can you see that? one day, someone started seeing this kitty. I never actually saw this kitty, but other people saw this kitty out in our parking lot, right? Here's another one. Can you see that one in between the cars? Right? So I think it's because Obon, they didn't pick up our garbage for a week. And so the container wouldn't shut. There's all this trash piled up. And one day I saw this kitty dumpster diving. It went in the dumpster, and then I saw it eating food out of the dumpster. Here's another one. You can kind of see. I'll show you a close-up. Look at that one. And then watch. Ready? See? I like cats. So anyway, so there are these 3 cats, right? But this is the one I could get close to. The other 2 ran away. Well, I never saw the kitten, but the other tuxedo would run away, right? But this one I could get close to. See the dumpster? Here's another picture. Oh, look what happened. We started feeding it, and within 3 days, she's climbing in my lap. She's letting me pet her, right? So she went from this. This is day 2, I think. We started giving her crunchy food. We started giving her wet food. She let me pet her. She let me pick her up, right? So I don't know. We don't know her story, right? I think she's friendly, so she's around people. Feral cats, if they're not around people by a certain age, they will never come to a person. But she would come up to me. She'd let me pet her, right? And so by then, it's like this. Here she is. Isn't she cute? So that's the back entrance to our church. There's another picture. I like her in this picture so much that's my iPhone thing, right? See? So isn't that cute? Oh, she's so cute. So anyway, look, we took her home. Those are my shoes. The second set of shoes I'm wearing right now. So she was friendly enough. We took her to the vet just to get her a little checkup, and which was hard to get. And they didn't even charge me, which was kind of amazing. But they said, she's in pretty good shape. She's been home now for 4 weeks. I don't know if we're going to keep her, but we're taking care of her. We're fostering her at least until maybe we'll find someone to adopt her, or maybe we'll keep her. We're not really sure. But what about that kitty? Right? I never saw this cat. It never came back. The other tuxedo too. We never saw them. So in one sense, right, compassion, when I saw this cat dumpster diving and having to eat garbage, I was like, no, that's not right. We got to feed her. Right? So I ran out and bought some food. I even put the food out near where the other cat was seen. We have barbecue pits, but never actually saw them again. Right? So I don't know what happened to them. I tried. Right? And with one cat, I was able to help her. Right? The other 2, I couldn't help. So that selfless giving, selfless compassion is really, really hard. And I can't always help those I want to help. Right? I would love to have helped these 3, but then when other cats start appearing, do I help them too? Right? The food budget's going up. If I take them to the vet, that's expensive. Right? So it can be difficult to help others 100% as we wish. And yet, with this other kitty, right? So we named her Misty. So her name's Misty. Today Oakland was foggy, right? Because she was just Kitty, right? Kitty. But in Japanese, when you go kitty, 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 it starts sounding like kitty, Kiri. Kitty, kitty is fog, right? But then it's also mist. So I thought, let's name her Misty. And so that's Misty. I look at her every time I turn my phone on. Right? Oh, I miss my kitty. No, anyway. Right, that our compassion is limited. But that doesn't mean that I don't do anything, right? So I can't help all the cats, but I can help when I can, right? I help Misty. I can give donation maybe to Cat Town or some ASPCA or some organization that helps cats, right? I can try to help others, but recognizing my limitations. So with that, I want to use my base a little bit and talk about the middle way for just a little bit. I feel like middle way is also kind of associated with Higan because it's equal, right? Day and night, equal, the equinox, right? So the middle way we could also call the middle path. We could also, there's another path, you might know the Noble Eightfold Path. You heard of that one, right? But today, it's the Noble Eight-String Path. See? Look, 1, 2. Normally bass has 4 strings. This is a bass. And normally it has 4 strings, but this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8-string bass. It's really rare, but it's really cool, and I think you'll like it. But anyway, back to the middle way. There's a... one thing about this bass, I left my amp at home. So listen. Can you hear it? But you're going to have to be really quiet. Just kidding. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't plug in. All these steps. Okay, let's turn this off. There. Now you can hear it. So there's a story of Shakyamuni Buddha. People heard about Shakyamuni even though they weren't nearby necessarily. And so there was this person, he was meditating really hard. He was doing walking meditation, but he was walking so much, he got blisters on his feet. Right? And then he'd do sitting meditation, but he meditated so much, his back started to hurt and his legs hurt. So he went to Buddha to ask questions. He's like, I'm meditating as hard as I can, and it's causing me pain. Right? And so Buddha said, you're a nobleman, right? And he said, oh, yeah. And he said, so you can play the veena, correct? And he said, oh, yeah. All noblemen can play the veena. So veena is an Indian instrument. It's strings, right? And it doesn't have frets. This one has frets, these things. But the veena doesn't have those. But anyway, he says, so when you tune the veena, you have to be in tune, right? And so he said, when you tune the veena, if the string is too tight, does that work? So I'm going to try to do it. Doesn't sound good, right? So you have to tune it to just right. If it's too low, I'm going to do this one, then it doesn't sound good either. Right? If you tune it so low, it doesn't even make sound. Well, it kind of makes sound. That's not a good sound, right? So you have to tune it so it's not too loose. There. And then when you tune it just right? Not too tight, not too loose. So that's one way that Buddha talked about the middle way. And so similarly, if I'm going to try to be selfless and help everyone, I can't do that. I honestly can't do it. I can't even help all the cats. How am I going to help all the dogs and all the bunnies and all the birds and all the insects and all the people? Right? I can't do that. But the other extreme is, so I'm not going to help anyone. I'm just not going to care. That doesn't work either. That's another extreme. Right? So we have to find this middle way. It's different for each one of us. It's different for different people. Right? And so this middle way, but with our values of Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, right? Or I would say giving and wisdom. At the top, the first one and the last one are maybe the most important. But we can also think of effort and patience and discipline, right? That we want to put those into our life and use those to pursue whatever it is we're pursuing, whether it's studying or sports or music, right? We can actually think of the 6 paramitas, the 6 perfections, for anything we want to do. But ultimately, it's for Buddhism. Okay? But even that is hard too. So fortunately, we have Nembutsu. I'll talk to the adults about that more later. Right? But so that, they asked me to play, I was going to play a song called Ohigan 1, which was written by Reverend Yamaoka, the late Reverend Seigen Yamaoka, but I wasn't able to do that. So one song I thought, we heard it before. Okay, I'm going to try to play something, but it's the wrong holiday. How does it go? Yay. Did you recognize it? In Lumbini's garden, right? It's the Hanamatsuri song. The other one is, this is Yamaoka Sensei's song. Let's hear it for Yamaoka Sensei. Thank you for listening to my noble 8-string path. And oh, there's Ohigan. Okay, so this is the guy we got to remember, right? So hopefully this image is burned in your brain, right? And then when someone asks, I don't know, maybe junior Y or something, they might have like a scavenger hunt or like a quiz, right? There's a test later. No, just kidding. But Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday to remember the 6 paramitas. And remember, giving, let's say it together. We can read it on the screen. Giving, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. Great. So happy fall, Ohigan, everyone. Let's say the Nembutsu together. Dasho, please. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay. Stop sharing.
Thank you, Reverend Bridge. We will now have Gatha Farewell on page 45 in a small service book, followed by the promise located on page 5 in the little book or page 15 in the big book.
Dharma school is over for another day. Let us gather round the shrine, bow our heads and say, thank you, teacher, for your help. Thank you, everyone. Buddha's love will keep us safe till our work is done. So we'll meet again next week. Won't you take good care? Let us try to do what's right, always kind and fair. We shall spread the happiness faith in Buddha brings. Now it's time to say goodbye till we meet again. Namu Amida Butsu. Sing this fine refrain. Namu Amida Butsu, sunny day or rain. Namu Amida Butsu, strong in faith remain. Namu Amida Butsu, till we meet again.
The promise. We thank the Buddha for showing us the way of freedom. We will endeavor to walk in his noble path every day of our lives. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda.
Thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Reverend Jones, Reverend Bridge, Minister Assistant Mr. Akizuki, Minister Assistant Mrs. Tanabe, Organist Mr. Yoshihara, and AV Tech Mr. Kitagawa. Are there any announcements?
While people are coming up, some of you may already know, but this coming Tuesday and Wednesday is our Techno Hoyo presentation here in the Hondo. There is a sign-up registration kind of on our Kindle, so not Kindle, Kindful. If you would go to our website, you can register to attend these services, and they really are services. And the reason we're asking for registration is so that we know how many people will be able to attend this. We're kind of limiting it to 200, but I know there'll be some walk-ups that will come in. But the presentations will be on Tuesday at 3, Tuesday evening at 7, and then again on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So take a look at our website, Bitswing website, and there is a Techno Hoyo link that will take you to the Kindful page. So if you're interested, please do register for that. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mei Kawamoto, Dharma School Superintendent. I failed to send out a message in advance, but wanted to invite parents to join me across the street in front of the library after the service. It'll just be sort of an overview of the year. So hope to see you there. Thanks.
Hello, Troop 611 will be having our fall e-waste on Saturday, October 5th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
The location is at the education building parking lot across the street, and we're gonna have the flyers in the back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Tyson, and we're from Pack 611.
My name is Jackson, and all three of us are from Pack 611.
My name's Corey, and we're going to sell popcorn today. It's outside of the church.
Thank you.
Tough act to follow. Okay, I have three announcements. I've been asked to make an announcement about we're going to have a birthday party for Sumi Tanabe on Sunday, October 13th. You may not know, but she received the BCA Lifetime Achievement Award at the National Council meetings this past February. So we're celebrating that, and we're also using this as a way to raise funds again for the Dharma Center. So please join us for Sumi's 87th birthday. Wow. It'll be in the multi-purpose room that day, and yeah, please RSVP in the Betsun office before October 7th. The following Saturday is October 19th. So we used to have our own Betsun Kato Kai here where we honored our seniors. UI Kai had their separate one, and sometimes they were only a week or two apart, so it would confuse the seniors because sometimes they come to this one and they thought it was the other one and whatever. So we are now doing just a single community-wide Kato Kai event. And so just letting you know that takes place on Saturday, October 19th. Sign-ups, I think, have already started, hopefully. It'll be held here at the gym at, I believe, 4 or 5 o'clock. So be on the lookout for that announcement. And then the last thing is Sangha Support has asked me to make an announcement. Next Sunday, whatever date that is going to be, they're going to have their game date, activity day. So after service at 11 o'clock from about 11 to 1, they're going to have a bunch of people in there with games and snacks and all kinds of stuff in there. So it's a way to kind of fix what's happened for the last 4 or 5 years since the pandemic started. Since the pandemic started, it's been hard for some people to start to socialize again. So this is a way to bring the Sangha together. So if you have that day available next week, please join us. There'll be different games out there. I know there will be a Texas Hold'em table, I believe, but I was asked to do that one, but I said, no, I'll do something else. So, so my wife and I are going to do a card game called 5 Crowns, which you may not have heard of. But you know, if you want to learn a new game, it's sort of like Rummy with a ton of wild cards. So anyway, please come by on that day. Thank you.
Before everyone leaves the temple, please straighten all the books for the next service. Those of you who are interested are welcome to attend the adult English service following this service. For your safety, please obey the crossing guards and look both ways before crossing the street. Thank you for attending today's service.
have been expensive with the discount. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just open it. Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, for the box. Yeah. Yes, that's right.
You have to cut the screen.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
I didn't cut mine yet. I think you're supposed to cut mine.
I don't know.
Yeah, see, it's cut to the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jacque Yamaguchi, and I'll be your chairperson for today. I'd like to say that there's no food or drink allowed in the hondo this time. And if you have your cell phones, could you please turn them off or put them on airplane mode or something and lower the volume. Thank you. Is there anyone here for the first time visiting the hondo? Oh, group, okay. Would you like to introduce yourselves? Okay. Yes, uh-huh.
Eric Moran, this is my family. And 5 kids, we have 5 kids,
Oh,
but
wow.
only 4 of them.
Okay.
This is my wife, Gina. My son, Ahmed. My son, Easy. Daughter, Gaiden, and Jeff.
Oh, welcome. It's nice to have a family here. Anyone else? No? Okay, good. Well, hopefully there's someone near you that can help you go through our books and help you with the pages and follow through. But thank you and welcome. Okay, let's see. I'm reading the script here. Okay, let's see. Who will start this morning's service with Sambujo on page 24 in the large book. And we'll follow with Sambujo on page 22 in the small book and 79 in the large book.
to observe the autumn Ohigan service with deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amidala. We reaffirm the three homages. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance.
Lanzo
Sorry about that. I think they changed the, it was Junidai. Okay. I would like to have the Oshoko right now, Daihyoshoko from the organizations. Call on Abba, representative. Morgan Hill, Oikai. BWA. San Jose Between. Now, may I have everyone please rise for our for Gatha Seiya on page 222 in the large book, and if you would remain standing for the three treasures on page 3 in the small book. Thank you.
Please now turn to page 3 in the smaller Dharma School service book and join in the reading of the three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning. I'm sorry we're running late, but whenever we have these major services, and our Dharma school services tend to run late, and then we get late in our adult service, and so it kind of backs up. And I'm sorry, I apologize for the. Harry Sensei, Bridge Sensei had a good idea, so maybe we'll talk about it and see if we can maybe remedy our tardiness of our services. But we're very fortunate to have with us this morning Reverend Harry Bridge of the Oakland Buddhist Temple. And Bridge Sensei has served for nearly 20 years, and in that time he has acted as an instructor at the Institute of Buddhist Studies. He has also served as a Gicho, or head of the National Ministers Association. He recently was able to transfer that responsibility to Reverend Adams of the San Mateo Buddhist Temple. And this past summer, when we observed our National Ministers Summer Seminar, where usually we conduct businesses, and it's the first opportunity for the Gicho to conduct the planning of the seminar and the business of the meeting. Bridge Sensei was saying that he was very relieved and happy that he had no responsibilities. It was all up to Adam Sensei now, and he was happy to transfer that responsibility. But we are really very fortunate to have Bridge Sensei join us this morning and to share his appreciation of the teachings of the Buddha.
Okay, let's see what we can do here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Were some of you here for the first service? A couple of people, a few people. Yeah. You want me? Okay. Let's see, hold on a sec here. Let me do this. Do it there. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. This always happens. There. There. Okay. So, if you were here for the first service, you heard me talk about the 6 paramitas, right? Like you can see up there, also known as the 6 perfections. So I thought I'd talk a little more about them. So this is often what we think of when we think about Ohigan. Ohigan is the equinox. It's one of the interesting Buddhist holidays for a few different reasons. One is that, as far as I know, Japan is the only one that does it. It's not really Chinese Buddhism or Tibetan Buddhism or India. It's like for some reason Japan started doing this Ohigan service, both in the spring and in the fall. So it happens twice a year because it's related to the equinox. A lot of our holidays are connected to either the birth or death of a founder, Shakyamuni, Shinran, right? So Hanamatsuri, Bodhi Day, Nirvana Day, Hoonko, Gotane, right? Those are all based on birthdays and memorials for founders, for important people. Obon's a little different, but Ohigan is related to the seasons, right? It's related to nature. So it's kind of neat to think about it, right? That this is kind of different than a lot of our other ones. It's connected to the seasons. It's connected to this wonderful time, especially coming out of summer, when things start to cool off, right? I love autumn. Fall is probably my favorite season. And so, you know, we're at this equal point. Actually, next Sunday will actually be the equinox. And so we're getting to that time when day and night are equal, and the nights start to get longer. Now, I know other people probably prefer spring Ohigan, right? Because they prefer summer, they like hot weather, they like the longer days and everything. Yeah, I like the shorter days and the cooler weather and everything. So I'm more of a fan of the fall. And my guess is that it's Japan. Buddhism is from what, Nara, Kyoto, right? That even Tokyo though, it's hot in the summertime, right? It's really hot and humid in summer. It's really cold in the wintertime. I'm from Massachusetts originally. It's cold in Massachusetts. Some of the coldest winters I ever spent were in Kyoto. It's like bone-chillingly cold, I think because of the humidity too, right? And so I wonder if that's why they felt like, wow, it's spring, it's fall. Finally, we can kind of relax a little bit. Let's study Buddhism. So it's kind of neat, right? And it's kind of a time where people would go to lectures and listen to the Dharma and even like study Buddhism. So this time, though, is based on this idea of the paramitas. And so you can look at the screen if you want. I did the Sanskrit is paramita. So we say in English paramitas, but it's really paramita, right? We say harajuku, but it's harajuku, right? Shinjuku, right? But it's Shinjuku, right? So the different in pronunciation between English and other languages. In Japanese, I guess you could call it what? Ropparamitsu? Or, so that's roku. The first is roku, 6. And then haramitsu. Haramitsu is interesting because that's Chinese people learning about Buddhism coming from India. And they're like, what are you talking about now? Paramitas? Paramita. And so then they take characters that match the sound of the Indian word. So that's why haramitsu is kind of like paramita. Right? But it's also the Japanese pronunciation of the Chinese characters, right? And so another one is Namo Amida Butsu, right? Nama Amitabha Buddhaya would be maybe the Indian language one. But in Chinese, it's Namo Mitofo, which sounds very different, right? But that's because language changes over time, too, right? So our Namo Amida Butsu, to me, actually sounds a little more like Namo Amitabha Buddhaya because we got the Butsu, Buddha. Right? At least we have the B. In Chinese, it changed to Fo, right? Or Vietnamese is Namo Ai Da Fa, right? So it's but interesting, right? We're all saying the same thing, but because of the change in language, we pronounce it differently. So anyway, back to the paramitas. What else do I got? So the meaning of paramita, I think there are two interpretations. One is gone to the other shore, and that's where Higan comes from. Right? He-gan. That he character is like kare, right? Are, right? That's something over there. This shore is Shigan, kono shore, right? So it's kind of neat, right? Like if you know some Japanese, and if you don't know Japanese, I apologize. But if you do know some, it's like, oh, okay, right? So that Higan, the other shore. Now it's kind of interesting. The way where you're sitting is Shigan, this shore, samsara, the Gejin. This area. And then this area represents the Pure Land, enlightenment, Higan. So in a way, Higan's always in front of us when we're in the Hondo, right? That the other shore of enlightenment we can see in the Naijin, right? The Naijin represents the Pure Land, it represents enlightenment, right? So that idea of Higan, that shore, Shigan, this shore. I'm actually with you, huh? I'm kind of up on the Naijin level, but I'm outside, so I'm with you. And I'm with you always. I'm not enlightened, right? But this idea that, here we are in samsara, this world of suffering, if we learn about it, it's the world of the three poisons, greed, anger, ignorance, right? But there's another shore. There's the other shore of enlightenment. There's this other shore of no more suffering. And so, how do I get there? I want to get to the other shore. Well, paramitas, meaning number 2 is the completion of a task or perfection. Right? So there are these things that people can do, and if you perfect them, you'll reach the other shore. Okay? So that's kind of what's going on. That's a lot of what Buddhism is. finding out what is this world I live in, and then realizing, oh, this isn't all there is. There's also something else, something bigger, nirvana. Ultimately, it's not over there. Ultimately, it's all nirvana, right? Samsara is nirvana. But I think, especially in Pure Land Buddhism, maybe we can still understand, I'm not enlightened. I'm not in the Pure Land. I'm not awakened. I'm not Buddha, right? And so there is this idea of this other, like other power, right? Buddha power. So this kind of dualism. Sometimes people will say, but Mahayana Buddhism is non-dualistic. Samsara is nirvana. And that's correct from Buddha's perspective. But if I'm not Buddha, that's not how I see it, right? That I'm here on this shore, the shore of samsara, aspiring for the other shore. So in the first talk, what's the acronym that I taught you? Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, right? And so that's this way to memorize the 6 paramitas. But this is the adult talk, so boom, I'm going to give you a whole chart. Okay, so I put the 6 paramitas up there. If you can't see it, it's okay. This is a lot of extra information maybe, but so on the left side, there's Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, giving, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. And at one point, I looked them all up. So on the right side is the Sanskrit terms. So this is coming from India, right? This is bodhisattva practices from India. This is what bodhisattvas do to become Buddhas. A bodhisattva, that just kind of means Buddha in training, right? Somebody who said, I want to be Buddha. Here I go. What do? One set of things you can do is the 6 paramitas, the perfect these. Dharma school kids value daily practice. Dana, Shila, Kshanti, Virya, Dhyana, and Prajna, or Pragnya. Right? Now these are from, I forgot to give credit in the first service, Maya Lawrence. Has anyone heard of Maya Lawrence? She's one of Bishop Tsuji's daughters. Right? She came up with these. Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, and Dharma school kids value daily practice. Right? So she came up with these acronyms to help us remember these. So, but on the right side are the Sanskrit terms. In the middle are the Japanese ones, or Chinese. It should say Chinese-Japanese, because it's Chinese characters, but I'm doing the Japanese pronunciation, right? So dana is danna. It doesn't mean husband, right? It's danna, it's this dana, right? But it could also be fuse. And we heard fuse, we didn't do sambutsuge. We would have heard fuse and sambutsuge. I think sometimes we see it on the boxes that you can put your offering in. Right, this fuse. Sometimes you see it on envelope when you make an offering in Japanese, right? It comes from this, dana, giving. Shira is, again, so danna, shira, those are these transliterations when Chinese took Chinese characters to sound out the Indian language word, Sanskrit. So it's like when we say sushi. We could translate sushi. I don't really know how to translate it. I get confused between sashimi and sushi and all that kind of stuff, right? Somebody might translate it raw fish, right? Have you ever seen Freddy the Frog? Reverend Harada's The Puppet, right? And so he says, one of the pizzas that Freddy the Frog likes is, he says, I like sashimi, no, he makes it, sashimi pizza. And then Harada says, you put raw fish on pizza? And he goes, no, raw pizza. So, but that's not really what sushi means, I don't think, right? But in English, we think sushi. Can I have some raw fish, please? Right? That maybe wouldn't be popular now if that's how you ordered it, right? But you could say that to translate it, the meaning, or you can, what is that? Sushi? Sushi? S-U-S-H-I. Okay, I'll use the English language to sound out this foreign language. That's what the Chinese did with Indian words. Right? That happened 1,500 years ago, and continued to happen over time. So this way to take a word and just sound it out. Dharma. There's another one. I go to the Dharma for refuge. We just say it. Maybe we don't actually know what it means, but it could be the teachings. It could have multiple meanings too. It could be the truth. It could be the constituent elements of reality, but we just say dharmas, right? Or dharma. So discipline, jikai. Jikai is actually precepts. So that's another one. In the first service I said the 6 paramitas are not all the same level, I'm ordained and I didn't take any precepts, right? I'm married, I have hair, I drink, I eat meat, right? So I'm not keeping monastic precepts, so I'm definitely not doing the discipline one. So maybe for adults, you start to realize, wait, so why are we talking about these? I think as a minister, it's kind of hard to know. Why are we talking about 6 paramitas if we're not doing it? Right? Should we take precepts? Should we say, I vow not to eat meat, and you have to do it too, and if you don't, you're wrong and bad. We don't do that, right? It's not part of our tradition, but bodhisattvas do. Somebody who's going to go by their own power maybe to become a Buddha would keep precepts. They would try to do selfless giving. They're going to have patience, or ninniku, not garlic, right? But that's the term that they use for patience, right? Effort, shojin. Have you heard shojin ryori? Right, the vegetarian meal. Interesting, talk about vegetarianism, right? But there is a vegetarian meal in Japan called shojin ryori, this Buddhist vegetarian meal, and we actually eat it when we get tokudo, huh? After tokudo, we get to go have shojin ryori at Honzan. Right? Meditation, Zenjo. You've heard of Zen, right? Zen Buddhism. It's so Zen, dude, right? But that Zen is actually this meditation. And it's thought to be attempting to transliterate dhyana. And so Zen, and Jo is kind of interesting too. Sadameru, right? It can mean like steadfast, but it also can refer to meditation. And then wisdom. So wisdom is kind of interesting. Hanya, right? Is prajna, hanya. It's like taking Chinese characters again and trying to sound out the Indian. And then chie is probably the term we normally think of, right? Chie, for wisdom. Now this wisdom doesn't mean with age comes wisdom. I've been around for quite a while. I'm so much more wise than someone younger than me. Nothing to do with that. This is Buddha wisdom. This is Buddha's awakening. This is Buddha seeing things as they truly are. Impermanent, interconnected, empty of inherent existence, right? So if you talk about enlightenment, then that can be this kind of wisdom idea, right? Or prajna. So these 6 are, again, these are these practices of bodhisattvas. Now, so again, do we do them, right? Or can I go to my members, or maybe even you, and say, have you done these today? Are you following the 6 paramitas? Right? That's not Jodo Shinshu, right? But at the same time, Jodo Shinshu doesn't reject them either. However, we understand them in a different way. Actually, these are what Dharmakara Bodhisattva did. Okay, Dharmakara Bodhisattva, Hozo Bosatsu. We've heard that, right? Kimyo Muryo Junyorai Namo Fukashigiko Hozo Bosatsu Iniji Saisei Jizai Obusho. Right? The Shoshinge, right, talks about Hozo Bosatsu or Dharmakara Bodhisattva. He was a king eons ago, kind of mythical time. Right? And he decides, I want to become a Buddha. He gets to meet a Buddha and says, I want to do that. I want to be a Buddha too. Right? So he makes vows, and then he does practices. And those practices include these 6 paramitas. Right? So that Dharmakara Bodhisattva did these practices, became Buddha, and you know what Buddha he became, right? Amida Buddha. The Buddha that we have in our altars is Amida Buddha, or Amitabha is the Sanskrit for inconceivable light, Amitayus for immeasurable life, right? He's this Buddha of wisdom and compassion, light and life. Right? And so, but began as Dharmakara Bodhisattva. He began actually as a normal person, then became a Bodhisattva, and then became Buddha. So Buddha did these 6 in a way so that we don't have to. Right? That our path is not this. Our path is listening to the Dharma, learning about this great vow of compassion of Amida Buddha, saying the Nembutsu, living my life, right? But entrusting in the Buddha, not necessarily even by my own effort. It's something bigger, right? That I come to entrust in the Buddha because of experiences that I have, because of my teachers, because of each one of us is different. Right? So, I want to talk, but again, I kind of said that some are more important than others. So like I said in the first service, I think number 1 and number 6 are maybe the most important. Right? Number 1, dana, selfless giving, compassion. Number 6, wisdom. Okay? And so for compassion, this is another set. So I was kind of thinking in terms of values too, Buddhist values that I've been talking about for the past 4 or 5 years. And I think we can kind of consider the 6 paramitas as a set of values. Right? That these are, even if we don't have to do them and we may not practice them, those are the ideals. Right? These are our ideals as Buddhists. The most important, one of the most important being giving, to help others, to be kind to others. Right? Even if I can't accomplish it all the time, it's still my ideal, it's still a value for me. Similarly with wisdom, I don't see things as they are. I see things as I want to. I see things with myself at the center. Right? And yet, I have this ideal of trying to see things as they truly are. That we're not separate, that actually we're all one. Right? That actually there's no essential me that I have to cling to and I can't believe it's going to disappear someday. It's not even there. I'm who I am depends on others. Right? That if the normal answer, so who am I? The normal answer, I'm me. You don't know me? I'm Harry, right? Or Reverend Harry. Right? How come you haven't heard of me? You haven't watched YouTube enough or something, right? And it's all about me. Me, 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 me. Right? That's the normal, this shore view of who am I. A more Buddhist view coming from wisdom is, who am I? Depends on who else is in the picture. Right? Because you're here, because I was invited, I'm Reverend Harry. Right? I'm giving a Dharma talk. I'm also a spouse. So if we're thinking, in terms of relationships, I have a wife, so I'm a husband. I'm also a son, right? Because I had parents. I don't have them anymore. They died over 20 years ago. I'm still a son, right? And I'm a cousin, right? I'm all kinds of things. I'm a bass player, if you were at the first one, right? That's more Hieronymus. So my name even changes if I'm doing music, then I become Hieronymus, right? So where's the me? The me is less important in this kind of understanding, right? And it becomes, no, it's about what I'm doing, who I'm with, the context, right? And it becomes less and less about me, 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 right? And more, there's this bigger picture. So I wanted to share one other set of what I would consider Buddhist values, the 4 immeasurable minds. And I'm mainly doing it for the first 2, but I actually really like these. So the first is friendliness or loving kindness. You might have heard that, right? And it's maitri, or metta. If you've ever heard of metta, we actually have metta is one of the scout things, right? And so metta or maitri is this Buddhist ideal of friendliness, kindness, loving kindness. Compassion, karuna. I knew someone named Karuna. I went to high school with her in Tokyo, and she was on CNN 20, 30 years ago. I find out her dad was a Jodo Shinshu minister, and he named her Karuna, right? Is how you say it in English, right? But Karuna, right? Or so that is compassion. Right? Now, the character for Maitri in Japanese is pronounced ji, and the character for Karuna in Japanese is pronounced hi. So often when we say compassion, it's jihi. Jihi. I think that was in the first Gatha this morning, right? And talking about the moon and jihi and Hotoke-sama, right? So this compassion or jihi. Now, if you look at the kanji for karuna, just so you know, or not karuna, yeah, actually karuna, compassion. In the Japanese reading, it's kanashi. Kanashi. That means sad, right? Which is really interesting because some people think, well, Buddha's not sad, right? Buddha doesn't have any emotions. Right? Just like this blank slate or something, right? But in the tradition, no. Buddha's compassion is this kindness and friendliness, and also this sadness. When Buddha realizes we're suffering, Buddha feels it, right? And Buddha feels this sadness. So jihi, this maitri and karuna, this friendliness and compassion. There's also this mudita, or ki, which is happiness or joy. Kangie is the obon service, right? And that's kangi. That gi is this ki, right? And here, sympathetic joy. I like that one because I don't know, in our culture, right? If anybody read Us magazine, I don't, but I used to, right? And it's like when people are up on the top, we love to see them fall, right? We love to be like, we're so jealous, right? We might be like, oh yeah, they're great, and then they fall. It's like, I knew it. I knew they weren't a good person. I knew, see, look at them, right? This is the opposite. Someone's happy, you feel happy, right? And enjoying the happiness of others. Yesterday, actually, one of my Dharma school kids, they were playing in the front hall, and then later on, I get, sensei, sensei, and I go in, and one of them's crying, and they broke the rope that like blocks the staircase. I'm almost like moving to tears. Like so this girl, she's probably like 9 or 10, right? And she's crying, and she comes and mom says, say sorry. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And like, I was almost crying. I didn't break the thing, right? But like sometimes I feel other people's pain, right? And I was almost moved to tears watching this girl cry. Right? At the same time, when someone's happy, like I can be grumpy in the morning before service starts, right? But then I see a member, they're like, hi, sensei. And I'm like, hi, how are you? And it just totally changes my attitude because it's this sympathetic joy. Actually, strings. I could use my bass and play one set of strings and the others will vibrate. Sympathetic vibrations, right? And that we can pick up on that. So Buddha, I think, has this sympathetic joy. Sadness when people are suffering, happiness when people are happy. And then equanimity, this one's good too, upeksha. This one is calm balance, middle way, right? And that rather than be like, you're happy, that's so great, I can't believe that's great, oh my gosh, I can't stand, you know what I'm saying? Or someone's crying, if she had said, I'm sorry, sensei, and I started crying and like, I can't deal with this, it's so sad, and walked away, that wouldn't be good, right? So this equanimity at the same time, calm balance. It's a whole bunch, right? What a whole bunch of cool stuff. I mean, to me, these are Buddhist values. To be kind and friendly when we can, to have compassion when we see someone suffering, when we see people happy, don't try and tear them down because they're happier than you are, right? No, wow, that's great. Right? And calm balance, equanimity. We don't always do it. Still, oh yeah, how could you have done that, right? Still judging others, still jealous, right? Still angry. I could have gotten really angry when the rope got broken too, right? And maybe that would be another possible reaction. If they broke something more valuable, maybe I would have gotten angry. I don't know, right? I don't want to get too hypothetical, but these as values, even if I'm not making them happen all the time, but I feel like these, in addition to the 6 paramitas, are ways to understand what Buddhism is about. And so, if people are being mean, do we just sit by? That's them, I'm going to ignore it, right? Or do we feel, no, you know, that's not cool, right? You can't be racist like that. You can't be mean like that. But at the same time, not in a judgmental way, maybe I see, no, but I can actually be mean too. I actually have racism in me, right? So at the same time of interacting with the people, there's also the self-reflection. Again, middle way. If I only criticize other people, if I only thinking about what other people are doing, that's an extreme. If I'm like, I can't talk, sorry, I can't say anything about you, here I am, it's all me and I'm here, that's an extreme too, right? So it's a balance between looking at the world with these values, maybe calling out if we see people being mean, see people being cruel, see people telling lies. I'm not telling you who I'm talking about, but you know, that there are people just picking up on lies and spreading them because they want to spread anger. Well, anger is a poison. That's another one. I don't have it on here, but there's a kind of negative ethics too in Buddhism, right? And realizing anger is a poison. Greed is a poison, not because of some, you know, celestial being declared it, but because it hurts myself and others, right? So if our actions and our politics and everything is about anger and hate, no, that's just going to create more anger and hate, and it hurts more and more people, right? If it's all about greed, I got to take what I can get. And my buddies too, we're all billionaires, and so we think we are, pretend we are, so we're going to, you know, let's change the rules so we can keep it all. That's basing in greed. Shouldn't it be equal, right? Shouldn't there be more so that we can all share in the resources of the world and take care of the world, right? It's also not just like take what you can get. It's like, no, look and see, we can't take everything we can get. We're destroying the planet, right? Especially this time of Ohigan, this time of nature, right? That we have to take care of the planet too, right? We can't, it's not a limitless resource. And so I feel like our Buddhist, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I feel like our Buddhist values, my Buddhist values anyway, are based in these, right? And that's what I want to aspire to. At the same time, though, being willing to look at myself and honest, right? And see when I'm not living up to that. And maybe that's me, right? I think I come across as a pretty nice guy, but you just haven't seen me when I'm mean. It's not even that I'm good at hiding it. It's just when it happens, it happens. I'm like Darth Vader with that control panel on his chest. It's like, it's so cheesy when you look at it, right? When you're a kid and Darth Vader, you're like, oh, so scary. And then you look at the costume and it's like, it's got some rocker switches on it and just buttons, you know? And it's like, I got it. The right person at the wrong time or whatever situation, they push that button. I'm like, what are you doing? Get so angry. But it's actually okay. Amida Buddha accepts me as I am. Right? The Amida Buddha accepts me with that anger, with that desire, with this ignorance. Right? But with knowing about these ideals, saying the Nembutsu, turning to the Buddha's calling me to pull me away from getting stuck in the three poisons and calling out to me to once again remember these values, right? To be myself. And I like to think that there's a transformation that happens. Right? And it's not just me, it's because I'm with all these other people, right? It's because I'm in Sangha, it's because of the Buddha calling out to me, and whether it's living people or people who've passed already, right? That they're all part of this call of the Buddha. And we say Namo Amida Butsu, and it seems like I take refuge in Amida Buddha, right? And that's how we usually translate it, but there's another way to think about it. It's the call of the Buddha. All the Buddhas are saying, Namo Amida Butsu, take refuge in the Buddha. Take refuge in these teachings. Take refuge in these values. And even, I was going to say, despite my anger, ignorance, and greed, but it's almost because of them that I'm called and transformed. I want to thank you all very much for joining us. I'm doing as if it's my temple. Sorry about that. Thank you for listening to my Dharma talk. Why don't we conclude with Kansho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Okay. Thank you, Reverend Bridges, for your today's sermon. It was very enlightening and relatable. Please rise for Gatha, Ondokusan II on page 76 in the small book.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Are there any announcements today?
Hi, everyone. My name is Randy Cow. I'm one of the Troop 611 Boy Scout Assistant Scoutmasters, and I want to let everyone know that we're having our biannual e-waste event on October 5th from 9 to 3 across on the 4th Street side of the Lotus Education Building side. So there's the flyers outside of what is and is not acceptable. So if you have any questions, just look at the flyers on front and back. Thank you.
Just to remind everybody, but first of all, I forgot last service to thank Reverend Bridge for joining us this morning for our Ohigan service and for the wonderful messages that he gave today. Thank you very much, Sensei. This coming Tuesday and Wednesday, the Bitsing is hosting Teknohoyo. One service will be at 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, and another service that evening at 7. And then on Wednesday, a third service will be conducted at 7 o'clock in the evening. Some of you may have the opportunity to see Teknohoyo service that was conducted in New York, at the New York Buddhist Temple. I think it's this weekend that the Los Angeles Buddhist Temple is conducting a service. And there's one also at USC, I think is where the other place that they were conducting this service. We have an opportunity to host Teknohoyo here at the Bitsing, and starting tomorrow, preparations will begin to host that service. But admission is free, and we're trying to have people register to attend, and it's on our website. And if you click on the link that takes you to the Teknohoyo kindful reservation. And it's only to be sure that we have enough room for everyone. I think we should have plenty of room. So please, if you are unable to register through Kindful, please just let us know. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of room for everybody. We just wanted to be sure that we didn't have our Hondo overflowing with too many people that would make it difficult to really appreciate this service. So please do register if you can. So that's this coming Tuesday, 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock, and Wednesday at 7. Thank you.
Hello. I've been asked to make announcements for lots of groups, so pardon my length here. Reiko just asked me to make an announcement. What was it? So we're holding the Kintsu Kuroi movie today is taking place. Doors open at 12. The movie starts at 1 o'clock. For those of you who didn't see it the last time, my wife and I saw it the last time. It's really cool. It's a story about a family and the events that take place before and during after World War II and the incarceration. So I'm not sure if last time they had a couple of the actors and the director here that got interviewed after the movie. I don't know if they're doing that this time as well, but it's a really good movie. So if available, please see that today. Bento is available. Okay. Anything else that I don't know? Okay, next Sunday, Sangha Support Committee. Louise made the announcement the last 2 weeks about there's going to be a game day. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but they're going to have tables set up in the gym and multipurpose room after this service. So it's supposed to go from 11 to 1. There's going to be tables with games. There's going to be tables with crafts. I forgot what else. Huh? Yoga. Chair yoga. See, I don't have to remember anything. Everybody reminds me of what I'm forgetting here. Thank you. That was my wife. So there'll be tables of Rummy Cube, Scrabble, Texas Hold'em, karaoke. Oh, I better bring my earplugs. My wife and I are doing a table of 5 Crowns. So if you never heard that, that's a card game that's kind of like Rummy with lots of wild cards. So if you want a wild time, come to our table. Anyway, that's next week. It's free. It's Sangha support last did this probably in 2019. So it's been 5 years. Obviously, the pandemic shut things down. So again, trying to get people engaged within the Sangha, just hanging around, seeing your friends again, having fun. So please come by. Let's see. Sunday, October 13th, I think, we are having a celebration for Sumi Tanabe, a birthday celebration. As you probably know, Sumi won the BCA Lifetime Achievement Award. She was awarded that this past February at the National Council meetings in Sacramento. So we're celebrating her 87th birthday, I believe. This is also serving as a fundraiser for the Dharma Center. So look in the Dharma newsletter for signups for that. And then the following Saturday on October 19th, we're going to have the first ever community-wide Keito Kai. So UI Kai used to have a Keito Kai event, and we used to have a Keito Kai event, and instead of having separate ones, we're just having one combined one. So this is being sponsored by UI Kai, us, Wesley, I think Nikkei Matsuri. So a bunch of organizations within Japantown are getting together, and we're having just one big one. I think that goes on at 4 o'clock on Saturday, October 19th. So look out for signups for that. Will be coming out. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to thank Reverend Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Reverend Jones, Reverend Bridge, Dennis Akizuki, Sumi Tanabe, Organist Michael Yoshihara, and our AV Tech, Kevin Kitagawa. So this is the end of our service for today. So everybody, let's see. Thank everybody for attending today's service. And if you can join us all for refreshments, we have it outside in the garden. You're all welcome to attend. Oh, you can all come up and Gansho as well, of the offering.